Totally unplugged from the high-tech world of Bluetooth thermometers, phone apps, timers, and PID controllers is the skill of open fire cooking. Open fire cooking is the world's oldest cooking method, and as much as I value technology and its place in our future, we sometimes need to get a perspective of how things used to be. It's a primal connection, dating back to the times of man and fire, a connection to nature and a way to slow it down. So in today's video, I'm taking you through my 2-year journey with my open fire grill, the Old Country Vaquero. Welcome back, my good people. My name is Al Lunacy, and this is Al Lunacy Queuing. For the past 2.5 years that I've been running the barbecue channel, I've accumulated a little over 20 barbecue pits. And out of all those 20 or so, I'd have to say that the one brand that I own the most of is Old Country Barbecue Pits. One of my favorite grills is the Old Country Barbecue Pit Vaquero Grill. It's a Santa Maria grill, and I've really enjoyed owning it for the past 2 years. So today we're doing a 2-year review and update of all the modifications that I've done to this grill. So if you're in the market for a Santa Maria grill, this is the perfect video to watch. So let's get into it. In late April of 2022, the channel was just a couple of months old. I had already owned 3 barbecue pits before starting the channel, but I wanted to buy a new one to add variety to the channel, and so I headed to my local Academy. Academy is a sporting goods store, and I remember walking into the store towards the grill area and first seeing the Old Country Vaquero Grill. It had this large spinning wheel and was sexy as hell. I actually shot video that day, and that was my first look at the Old Country Vaquero Grill video that you can see on the channel. For those of you not familiar with this grill, let me give you a few specs and some background about these kind of grills. The Old Country Vaquero Grill is a large open fire grill with 650 square inches of grilling space. It currently sells for $450 and is made of a welded carbon steel construction. It has a rotating chain system allowing you to raise and lower the grill grate. The grill stands on some caster wheels, making it easy and hassle-free to move around. This kind of grill is a Santa Maria type grill, meaning that it's an open fire grill with no brasero, which is an open fire box. Not to be confused with an Argentinian type grill, which is an open fire grill with a brasero, which is usually located off to one side. The Vaquero Grill quickly found its place in the barbecue back shack, and the following month, I shot video of my first cook on the grill. Again, I'm Al Lunacy, and welcome to Al Lunacy Queuing. Today we have another cook for you. We'll be utilizing our Santa Maria style Old Country Barbecue Pit Vaquero. Perfect cut for this is going to be our tri-tip. A prime grade tri-tip with some grilled veggies and an aioli sauce was our first cooked meal on the grill. The grill had plenty of space for all this goodness, and man, oh man, I still remember this delicious cook. A few months later, I did experiment with some ceramic tiles installed over the charcoal grates to reduce fuel consumption and increase heat retention. Now, while this modification did improve heat retention, fuel consumption will always be high since it's an open fire barbecue pit. In the end, I found that it was too much of a hassle removing the ceramic tiles or even fire bricks every time you want to clean the barbecue pit, so I scrapped the idea. That brings us to the next modification of the grill. Months later, I installed an Only Fire rotisserie spit bar to the grill. The rotisserie kit fit perfectly and did not affect the functionality of the grill. The next video that followed was using the rotisserie to make al pastor tacos. And man, that was a lot of fun. Now you can sort of understand why this grill is one of my favorite grills, because it's so versatile. And so I racked up several cooks on the channel using the Vaquero Grill, and these were mostly done during the winter season since it's always fun keeping warm next to an open fire. But one thing I always wanted to do with the grill is use more firewood. I always have to start with lumped charcoal, and once the fire catches, I'd add a split or two. But what if I can somehow make a firebox fit inside the grill? And so I cut a few pieces of angle iron and had a friend weld the idea together. So today we are trying out the prototype of a brasero firebox idea I designed for the Vaquero Grill. We'll do a quick cook using the brasero to see how it handles the fire, and then I'll give you my final thoughts about the grill. So let me remove the brasero and charcoal grates so I can give you guys and gals a closer look at the latest modification. So in order for the brasero to work in the Old Country Vaquero, I had to get a friend to weld the two separate charcoal grates together so that they would make one rectangular grate. He also installed some handles on the side and cut the center walls out so that the embers and charcoal can be scooped across the grate from under the brasero and onto the main chamber area. You'll see what I mean once we get the fire going. So let's get the charcoal grate back in and let's install our brasero. Now the measurements for the brasero are 16 inches in length by 7 inches in width and 7 inches in height, and I'd say it weighs about 20 pounds. Now let's get the fire burning so I can give the vaquero a coat of oil to re-season the outside. Now since I have a lot of mesquite firewood, I decided to use whole logs instead of splits. This would be a good test to see if the brasero would be able to withstand the heat. So this here is how to use the brasero. As the wood burns, the embers fall below and you scoop out the embers onto the rest of the charcoal grate to cook your meat above. Now since we were using whole logs instead of wood splits, this was taking longer than it should and we were losing daylight. So I decided instead to allow the logs to burn till they were completely black. Then we'd move them over to the rest of the charcoal grate. This was also enough burning wood to heat up the grill all around so I can season it with oil. It had been a while since I had used my vaquero. We topped the burning logs with lump charcoal, then we added a few dried mesquite honey pods into the fire for some added sweetness. We started with chicken halves and the fire was going strong in the brasero and in the main chamber. Wind was also blowing hard, so our wood was burning hot. We added some beef skirt as well to the grill and everything seemed to be going as it should. The brasero was handling reloads of mesquite log with no problem, and we would add a log or two when needed. And notice that the brasero is just the right height and width to allow the grill grate to be lowered down to the frame box of the grill. It was a beautiful night for filming and the meat was just about ready to come off the grill. We gave the meat one last flip over and enjoyed the smell of the meat juices falling onto the embers of the firewood. The warmth and glow of the live wood fire, the feel of the wind breeze against my skin and hair, the smell of delicious protein sizzling over the fire, and a cold drink in my hand. What a night. It was so relaxing. And so our beef fajitas and chicken halves were ready, so we took them off the grill. Everything was delicious and juicy. So when I look back now, it's hard to believe it's been 2.5 years since I've owned this grill. They say that time flies when you're having fun, but I say there's still more fun to have. So as a recap, I'd say the Vaquero Grill has been a great introduction for me into the world of open fire cooking. When comparing it to other Santa Maria grills, you just can't beat the build quality you get for what you pay for it.
Well, guys and gals, that's all for now. I hope you enjoyed the video. If it helped you in some way, please consider subscribing. We appreciate all the support. Now, if you like this type of content where we go back and revisit a pit that we haven't used for quite a while, go ahead and leave it in the comments and suggest what we should do next. So once again, we appreciate all the support. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe if you haven't already. And as always, take care of yourself and each other. We'll see you on the next one.